Why is it that one 5-minute conversation can stay in your mind for the next 5 hours? You tell yourself you're done thinking about it. Then suddenly, you're replaying every word, every pause, every facial expression, wondering, why did I say that? What did they really mean? I should have answered differently. Here's the strange part. Your brain isn't replaying that conversation to torture you. It's trying to protect you. But the harder it tries, the more trapped you become. And once you understand why, you'll finally understand what's really happening inside your mind. Let's start with something important. Thinking about conversations after they happen is completely normal. Our brains naturally reflect on social interactions. It helps us learn, improve communication, and avoid repeating mistakes. The problem begins when reflection turns into replay. Instead of learning something useful, your mind keeps running the same conversation over and over, without reaching a new conclusion. So why does your brain keep doing it? Because human beings are wired for connection. For thousands of years, being accepted by a group increased our chances of survival. Rejection could have serious consequences. Even though life has changed, your brain still treats social acceptance as something deeply important. That's why even a small, awkward moment can feel much bigger inside your mind than it probably looked to everyone else. But here's where your brain makes a mistake. It believes that if it replays the conversation one more time, it might finally find certainty. Maybe you'll discover what they really meant. Maybe you'll find the perfect response you should have given. Maybe you'll finally stop feeling uncomfortable. The problem is, most conversations don't come with perfect answers, and your brain struggles with uncertainty, so it keeps searching. This is one reason people often replay conversations after arguments, job interviews, presentations, first dates, or even completely ordinary conversations. If something feels emotionally important, your brain wants to understand it completely. But complete certainty rarely exists. And that's where rumination begins. Rumination means repeatedly thinking about the same event without moving toward a solution. It feels like problem solving, but most of the time, it's simply mental repetition. Then another psychological bias quietly joins in. It's called negativity bias. Our brains naturally pay more attention to possible mistakes than to things that went well. Imagine you had a 30-minute conversation. 29 minutes felt completely normal. One sentence felt awkward. Guess which part your brain keeps replaying? Usually, the awkward one. As if that single moment defines the entire interaction. Then hindsight bias makes things even worse. After the conversation is over, your brain creates the illusion that the perfect response should have been obvious. Suddenly you think, I should have said this. I knew the answer all along. But that's an illusion. You didn't have the same information or perspective in that moment. Your brain only feels smarter because it's looking backward. So does replaying conversations actually help? Sometimes yes. Brief reflection can help us learn and grow. But endless replay rarely changes the outcome. It doesn't rewrite the conversation. It usually only increases stress. So, how do you interrupt the cycle? The first step is asking yourself one simple question. Am I learning something new? Or am I replaying the same thought? If the answer is the second one, your brain has probably shifted from reflection into rumination. Another helpful strategy is focusing only on what you can still control. You cannot change yesterday's conversation, but you can decide how you want to communicate tomorrow. That shift moves your brain from regret toward growth. It also helps to challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself, what evidence do I actually have that this conversation went badly? You'll often discover you're filling in the blanks with fear instead of facts. Mindfulness can also be useful, not because it stops thoughts, but because it teaches you to notice thoughts without automatically following every one of them. And if there truly is something that needs to be repaired, take action. Send the message. Clarify the misunderstanding. Apologize if necessary. Action usually calms the brain much more than endless analysis. There are also a few myths worth letting go of. Many people believe, if I think long enough, I'll find the perfect response. The truth is, perfect responses rarely exist. Another myth is that confident people never replay conversations. Research suggests almost everyone does this from time to time. The difference is that some people know when to stop. One important thing to remember: occasionally replaying conversations is a normal part of being human. However, if these thoughts become persistent, cause significant distress, or interfere with your relationships, work, sleep, or daily life, talking with a qualified mental health professional may be helpful. So remember this: your brain isn't replaying conversations because it's weak. It's replaying them because it cares about connection. But real confidence doesn't come from finding the perfect words after the conversation ends. It comes from accepting that no conversation will ever be perfect. And sometimes, the healthiest thing you can say to yourself is, "It's okay, that conversation is over." If you enjoy understanding how the human mind works, subscribe to Psychology Clicks, because every week we explore the science behind thoughts, emotions, relationships, and human behavior. The better you understand your mind, the better you understand yourself.